Here's a stat that'll make you want to double-check your broker account. Some investors are clocking 75% annualized returns just by clicking one tiny button. And no, this isn't some crypto rug pull or late-night infomercial for miracle stocks. It's a dividend strategy, so safe your grandma probably invented it. You clicked because you want to know, do I take my dividends as cash or let them drip back into more shares? And here's the kicker. This isn't just about an extra coffee a month. Over time, it's the difference between being rich and being rich enough to own a private island. Quick disclaimer, this is not financial advice. It's education, entertainment, and occasionally bad jokes. If you YOLO your mortgage money because I said compounding is cool, that's on you. Now let's get into the face-off. Drip versus cash. Spoiler alert, the math will make your head spin. ULTY isn't your average ETF. It's not some boring fund paying 2% quarterly. Nope. ULTY is a beast, spitting out weekly dividends at a rate that makes Wall Street veterans choke on their Starbucks. We're talking nearly 80% to 100% yield annualized. Yep, you heard that right. Weekly payouts straight into your account. Now here's the debate. Do you cash out those payouts, treat yourself to avocado toast, and still brag to your friends you're living off dividends? Or do you reinvest every penny back into buying more ULTY shares through a DRIP, Dividend Reinvestment Plan, and let compounding go full beast mode? Both strategies sound smart, but which one actually stacks you the most dollars? Let's break it down with real numbers and scenarios, and trust me, you're not just choosing between two strategies. You're choosing between two different financial futures. Let's start with Team Cash. You've got $10,000 and you load up on ULTY at $6.50 a share. That gives you roughly 1,538 shares. ULTY, being the generous beast it is, starts pumping out weekly dividends. Over roughly 141 days, about 5 months, you've racked up $3,000 in cash payouts. Your share price slides a bit from $6.50 to about $6.15, but who cares? Those weekly deposits feel amazing. Math check. Total value equals $9,450 in shares plus $3,000 in payouts equals $12,450. That's a 24% return in less than 5 months. Annualized, about 75% per year. Let that sink in. You're beating hedge funds while wearing sweatpants. Psychological bonus. Cash feels good. It's tangible. You can pay bills, buy stuff, or flex on social media. But what if I told you this feel-good strategy could be robbing you of tens of thousands of dollars in the long run? Because here's what happens when you hit the drip button. Same scenario. $10,000 invested in ULTY. But this time, you check the magic little box that says reinvest dividends. Every single weekly payout doesn't hit your bank. It goes right back to buying more ULTY shares. And those new shares, they start earning their own dividends immediately. Result after the same 141-day window? Your account is now worth $12,925. That's nearly $500 more than the cash strategy in just a few months. And annualized? We're talking 94% returns. Same stock. Same time. The only difference was reinvesting. And here's the wild part. The gap doesn't just stay small. Over time, drip leaves cash in the dust. Why? The answer is in the math of compounding. Let's talk about that magic. Here's the compounding secret. Cash strategy equals flat payouts. Drip equals payouts, buying more shares equals more payouts equals snowball effect. And because ULTY pays weekly, you're compounding 52 times a year. Compare that to traditional quarterly dividend stocks. That's like comparing a Tesla to a tricycle. Let's play this out long term. Drip keeps rolling, even through market dips. After 5 years, reinvestment can double or triple your position compared to cash. Example, $10,000 invested today with DRIP could grow to $35,000 plus in 5 years if yields hold. Cash strategy? More like $25,000. Still good, but not life-changing. But hold on, because before you run off to click reinvest everything, there's a hidden trap you need to know about. Math is simple. Humans, not so much. Cash makes you feel rich. Every week you see those payouts and temptation kicks in. Just a little treat, maybe some Amazon deals. You start leaking wealth one latte at a time. Drip eliminates that temptation, it forces discipline. But here's the catch. Drip isn't painless. Watching your dividends vanish into more shares, especially if prices drop, feels like watching paint dry while the paint insults your life choices. Most investors fail, not because the math is wrong, but because their emotions are. And this emotional battle ties into taxes, which is where things get complicated and expensive if you don't plan right. Here's the IRS twist. DRIP doesn't make your dividends tax-free. You owe taxes even when those dividends are reinvested. So, yeah, you didn't pocket the cash, but Uncle Sam still wants his cut. For high-yield assets like ULTY, this can be brutal if you're in a taxable account. Solution? Consider housing DRIP strategies inside tax-advantaged accounts like IRAs. Or budget for tax season so you're not crying into your W-2. But taxes aren't the only hidden cost. There's a ticking bomb inside ULTY itself, and if you ignore it, DRIP might speed up the damage. ULTY's monster yield comes from a complex options overlay strategy. It generates cash by selling calls, but over time this can grind down its net asset value, NAV. Translation: the share price can bleed out slowly even as payouts look juicy. Reinvesting into a decaying asset? That's like refilling a leaking bucket. You're adding water, but the hole keeps widening. Track NAV trends. Use DRIP for aggressive growth early, then pivot to cash once you've recouped your initial stake. Now, let's go one layer deeper, because the strategy that wins today may not be the one that wins 5 years from now. Most investors love playing the which one's better game, but let's be real. Life isn't binary. You don't have to marry DRIP and ghost cash forever. The smartest investors? They date both. Here's the move. Start with DRIP mode for aggressive growth. Why? Because early on, every dollar you reinvest has years to work for you. You're buying compounding at wholesale prices. Then, once your shares hit critical mass or you've doubled your investment, flip the switch to cash payouts. Now you're collecting serious income without lifting a finger. Think of it like this. DRIP is your personal trainer. It builds your financial muscle. But at some point, you don't need to hit the gym twice a day, you just maintain the gains. That's where cash comes in, funding your life, your other investments, or that Vegas trip you've been dreaming about, though maybe don't blow your entire dividend check on blackjack. Use that switch point strategically. For example, start in DRIP mode until you've recovered your initial $10,000 investment in payouts and unrealized gains. Then pivot to cash. That way, everything after that is pure house money. Hybrid bonus strategy. DRIP early in taxable accounts? Might sting at tax time. Instead, run this inside a Roth IRA so you can reinvest and withdraw tax-free later. That's like playing Monopoly with cheat codes. And if you think this is just some modern hack, think again because DRIP has been creating generational wealth for over a century. Let's roll back the clock and see how history proves this point. When we talk about DRIP, most people imagine some modern fintech gimmick. Nope. This strategy has been around longer than your favorite fast food chain. Take Coca-Cola, for example. Back in the 1960s, investors could join Coke's DRIP program for pennies on the dollar. No commissions, no fees. Just reinvest those sweet dividends into more shares. Fast forward 50 years, those early DRIP investors aren't just rich. They're in I have my own foundation territory. Same story with Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, and other dividend aristocrats. A study by Ned Davis Research found that dividends and reinvestment accounted for 84% of the S&P 500's total return since 1960. 84%. Without reinvestment? You'd be sitting on a tiny slice of the pie while everyone else is at the all-you-can-eat buffet. So why does this matter for ULTY? Because the principle is the same, even if ULTY isn't a 100-year-old household name. High-yield DRIP strategies accelerate compounding like nothing else, especially when payouts are weekly instead of quarterly. Now imagine applying that same discipline today. 5 years of drip and ULTY versus cashing out for coffee runs. That's the difference between building a $30,000 position and sitting at $20,000 wondering why you didn't stay patient. So, where does this leave us? Which approach wins the crown? And how do you decide without second guessing yourself every 5 minutes? Let's wrap it up with a verdict and a plan you can actually stick to. Okay, so which is better, cash or drip? Here's the truth. Neither strategy wins 100% of the time. The winner depends on your goals. If you're 25, grinding out your career and can live without extra income, drip is your rocket fuel. Every reinvested dividend is a future money soldier working for you, 24/7, rain or shine. If you're retired or building a lifestyle portfolio, cash might be your best friend. Weekly payouts mean stability. No selling shares, no timing the market. Just income hitting your account like clockwork. Here's the sweet spot. If you want wealth acceleration, start drip. If you want financial flexibility, switch to cash later or mix the two. But here's the bigger point. Don't get paralyzed by the choice. Either strategy beats the pants off, leaving your money in a savings account, earning 0.00001%. The real risk? Doing nothing. So here's your challenge. Run your own numbers. Compare the scenarios for your timeline, your tax situation, and your goals. Then pick a lane and stick with it long enough for compounding to do its thing. And hey, if this video gave you clarity or at least made you rethink that Starbucks budget, hit that like button, subscribe for more money breakdowns, and share this with your friend who thinks passive income means renting out their couch. Drop in the comments, Team Drip or Team Cash, and more importantly, what would you do with an extra $3,000 this year? Until next time, stay sharp, stay invested, and remember, the best strategy is the one you'll actually follow.